Hello, my dear ones. Good to be with you. Hope I don't do too many videos too much now, but there's so many hurting people, and I'm trying to get to everyone, and it's just my time. And then when you have a tough case like the last video, very serious case. And when you get to where your heart is swollen, your atriums are swelling, you've had strokes, you have syncope, you have heart pauses, you've got Brady-Tachy syndromes, you're in trouble. And you got to get a hold of that the proper way. And everybody thinks these are all treating different diseases and shit. It's just unreal. So I'm going to keep going with some Q&A so I can catch up. Apologize again. This is from Robert. He's a 56-year-old male in the United States. He's 6 foot tall. So, that's a little like, hey, let's take a look at that pituitary, right? He's 255 pounds. Obesity, high blood pressure, overall health. Remember, we've been talking a lot about the younger you are, it seems the more kidney and adrenal and all the other tissues are down more than, I was making a statement that on the last video, a 100-year-old probably has a lot less genetic weaknesses than a 10-year-old. So just recently got started listening to your podcast, and I'm finding it very interesting. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure at 19 years old. Now this man's 56, right? And high cholesterol at 25 years old. My blood pressure on meds stays around 130 over 90, right? Off meds, it stays around 170 over 115. Now remember, you want to check both arms when you're doing blood pressures, because you're looking at, when you do blood pressures, people might not realize it, but you're looking at your adrenal cardiac punch, your neurotransmitter punch, that's your systolic top one. The bottom one is what? Kidneys. So right off, kidney weakness has hit this gentleman right off as a youth, big time. And then the adrenals could be involved. They will be involved now at his age, but the kidneys go, the adrenals go with them. They're right there, brother and sister, so to speak. At 56 years old, I've struggled with weight for the last 15 years. I'm currently 250 pounds and 6 foot tall. My belly is about 50 inches around, which I absolutely would love to get rid of, and I've been told it's fatty liver. Okay? So, they're blaming your weight on fatty liver. Jesus. Again, looking at the ass end of the donkey, trying to figure out what the whole donkey looks like. So when you take a look at this, you look at the kidneys are down, all right? Then crept in the cholesterol, right? Why was that? Because the kidneys control the elimination of cellular waste. Whether the medical profession likes to wake up to this or not, who cares? But until you do, you're always fighting diseases and running up walls that don't exist. So when you understand the kidneys are eliminative organs to what system, and there's only 2 fluid-based systems in the body, it's pretty easy. You don't pee blood. And when you do, the other system is really getting your kidneys down. And that's what's happening to this gentleman here. Kidney weakness, and as time's going on, his cholesterol is going up, and that means he's extremely acidic. But from 19 to 56, and so you can imagine, he hasn't mentioned blood sugars yet, but you can imagine that sugar metabolism is an issue with him. The adrenals are involved. Fungal problems, and this is what I keep telling everyone there. That's why I invite you to do the Parasite M formula, 2 dropperfuls, full dropperfuls, and do that 3 times a day, 4 times a day for a good month or so, especially if you're heavy fungaled up. But you've got to also remember elimination. You can't just make a kill in the body and know where to go. We were joking about that the other day, to do a parasitic kill in the body and you're not eliminating well, both stool-wise. You got constipation and you're killing roundworms and flukes and things like this. I don't know. It just adds more toxemia to the body, right? These are proteins that got to be broken down. So he has a hard time. Fatty liver means what's the job of lipids? And I think that really needs to be established. The blood is not a friendly place to lipids. Why? Because the blood is a water-based system. It's got to move around the body in less than a minute. You start putting lipids in the blood, not a good idea. So we did find that duct from the small bowel to the gallbladder, meaning the gallbladder hydrolyzes lipids, and the lipids are lymphatic. So your gallbladder is lymphatic tissue, where your liver is more blood tissue. I call it the chemical factory of the body. People used to think the liver is the detoxifying organ. I go, really? Explain that. If you understand the body, you have eliminative organs that are involved in detoxification. You sweat when you're sick, if you got a good thyroid. And hopefully you drink lots of liquids, right? Yes, and they tell you drink lots of liquids, especially if you get a viral, and you get a fever and you get cold, you get, but fevers, oh no, we got to break a fever. It's just a congratulated mess of lack of understanding of how the body really works. They're fixated on the world of diseases, not how your human body really works. And when you understand that simplistically, you start going, yeah. Because we're talking about that. We were talking about that with you, Linda, yesterday. You got to be careful about not getting too intellectual about things because there's walls. I've taken this back about as far as you can go. Pat, I've been taking her back as far as you can go. And there's only one answer. We don't know. There's a lot in physiology that is inaccurate. And if you're glued to books being your source of knowledge, then you got a problem. Your awareness is the source of knowledge. These books are just other people's concepts, theories, and ideas. And yeah, some of them are right on, really good. Everything is absolutely, some like spiritual books, religious books. If that's your Bible and you hold it and you cling to it, then you yourself miss the experience of God because you think your experience of God is in the book. And you're the direct experience of God. I mean, if there's only one, then who are you manifested as an individual? So he's having an eating disorder, I think he said here. I have a weakness of eating. And again, that comes in, and again, a good parasitic kill. The first detox kit is perfect. Or I just hate to do a parasitic kill because you need to make sure you move your stools every day or twice a day, and you're pee and filtering pretty good. Not that you're going to kill parasites and start filtering from the kidneys, but at least you want to make sure your stools are good because mostly that's where you see the babies come out. The last 12 months I've studied Arnold Ehret. Good. The one case I'll never forget with Arnold Ehret is that the guy that stuttered, put him on a grape fast, and one day they're walking on the beach and he hawked up a big hawker, never stuttered it again. It shows you how congestion, lymphatic congestion, whether it's a bunch of mucus or whatever, is always your problem. And others, and all that research brought me to Dr. Morse. Oh, good. In an effort to find a solution to my poor eating habits and ultimately my subpar health status. Yeah, you got to fix your kidneys, bro, because that's your tumors, that's your cancer cells, that's what they call cancer cells. That's all the things that you suffer with, all your arthritises. Everything you can name is all acidosis, location. Yeah, you have different factors, whether you have sulfur involvement, high fungal, and you have these areas of alkalosis and that sort of thing, but the body is in a state of acidosis systemically, and having kidney weakness at this point. What's interesting is, what is your creatinine? I would think by now your kidneys would start breaking down, and that's real important to check both arms. Remember that. Not sure how to jumpstart my kidneys and adrenals and liver. And again, going back to that fatty liver, fats are used to fight acids. That's your predominant use of cholesterol, either cell wall, HDL, phospholipid cholesterol, or your LDL, lymphatic fluid cholesterol. These are all anti-inflammatories. Anti-inflammatories mean antacids. Antispasmodics, anti-inflammatories, all mean antacids. Because as a rule, it's that side of chemistry that's destroying everything or unbalancing your systemic chemistry. All this acid food eating just rips the body of calcium. Well, you've got a sister magnesium hanging around somewhere, and so everything becomes unbalanced. You also start yanking on your phosphorus. Yeah, I got to do a parasitic kill. I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, get rid of the demon. And that's just what you have to do, just get that sense of power and control. At the same time, when parasites overrun the human body, it's kind of like the mind. It starts controlling you. Parasites can start controlling the body and its desires, and you just can keep on going down that road. So a good parasitic kill is always important, but while you do that, you want to work on your kidney filtration. You want to work on everything. When you have high blood pressure this high, the fruit diet is the key to go. Of course, that's Arnold Ehret's, that sort of thing. I wouldn't even mix with vegetables, but if you had to, and you're fighting this, then, I don't know, you can use, I don't know what to say about it, because really your fruit place is the way to go. You can use vegetables to kind of move yourself there for lunch, but you always want to have a fruit breakfast. Get into that habit. And also, if you can get into the habit of having a fruit before you go to bed, you'll sleep better. You'll wake up having a good stool. Everything is good that way. Do your main cheat or your vegetables or whatever. Maybe have some cooked soups. Things like this might be able to help you. That sort of thing. You could have carrot soup, which is a little sweet, and have some good organic carrot soup. Matter of fact, when I was in Portugal, and we stayed at this place, this lady was always making us carrot soup, and I said, well, this is pretty good, but it was cold and all that sort of thing, and it was like, well, that was really inviting. So that would be the best way to tell you to go after this. You got to go after your fungal kill, because that's your starches. That's your fermentation, so that's going to be your grains, your bread, your cheeses. Matter of fact, anything that's a fermented dairy product is going to be on the crave list. Pastas, of course, all of this sort of thing. And till you grab a hold of that. And then not knowing whether you have sulfur in your bowels or anything, that's another, look-see. That's why I keep harping about the iris is so important, because we can see so many things that are contributing factors. Kidney and adrenals are definitely contributing factors, because your sugar metabolism's involved, your neurotransmitters are involved, and then, of course, your kidneys. To have high blood pressure at 19 and you're up at 100, you have serious kidney issues. And so getting those kidneys opened up, and that's where you use herbal formulas and you use fruit. That's all I really use, except some glanulars now and then. You might use a glandular for your adrenal glands, that sort of thing. Even though you have a good systolic, that's just being pushed up there from the... So, to give you an example of that, so he said he's got 130 over 90. So if I bring that 90 down to 60, that's 30 points, right? So if I say I drop 30 points from the top number, I'm down to 100. So this young man really has low blood pressure disguised as high blood pressure. And you can't treat him for low blood pressure, because that'd be a serious problem. You've got to go after that high blood pressure. Well, that's kidneys. Kidneys and adrenals. Sometimes the adrenals are not as bad, and the kidneys are what's pushing the adrenals up. But, I see you have low blood pressure, actually. And when you get done getting those kidneys opened up, you're going to see that. You're probably going to see some fatigue, and you're going, well, what's going on here? And that's your adrenals. Your body will take you down to your genetic path, and so we'll see how that lays out. Davina, United Kingdom, 55. She's 5'7". I don't know what the weight is. Thyroid removed. Now, you got 2 thyroids, so you always wonder, did you take both of them? And did you leave the parathyroids, or did you take those puppies with them? These guys, it's kind of like having a hysterectomy, and they take the appendix because, man, just save you from a future visit. Yeah, you know what? We could take out part of your liver too because you might become fatty someday. And then, you don't need your ovaries to take those out too. I mean, just on and on and on and on and on. Crazy stuff. I have recently had my thyroid removed due to thyroid cancer and now in recovery process. Just wanted to know, even though I'm taking lifelong medication, can I still take iodine, example seaweed, kelp, kale, iodized salt, etc., and what else helps with upping my energy levels? I am on a plant-based diet. Is this ideal, or should I also eating grass-fed meat and eggs? Wow. Now these come back from November, I guess, but first of all, you don't want to take iodine. Well, you don't have a thyroid. Why would you take iodine? You got to have a metabolizing issue with that, and you don't have a thyroid anymore. So your best bet, in my opinion, you're asking me, go on a 100% fruit diet, fruit, berries, and melons, get on our herbal programs, and get on about 100 milligram thyroid glandular. You want to try to grow that thyroid back. But why did you lose it? Thyroid cancer. So thyroid cancer, what is that? You had a few cells in the thyroid, or you had a goiter, easy to fix. And so because of that, they take your thyroid. These guys are insane. It's crazy. So now you've got a lifelong issue. Well, you can take thyroxine, but what about calcitonin? Your thyroids also produce calcitonin, which is essential with parathormone involved in your calcium movement in your body. And it's like, oh. So you start to see calcium-related problems in your body. Your bones go, blah, 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 connective tissue and everything else. And it's like, oh. So your energy levels are mostly adrenals. And I submit to you that you have kidney and adrenal problems right off. So to have any backing up of the lymph in your thyroid, you first have to have adrenal and kidney problems. Why? Because they control the drainage of your sewer system. And without proper drainage of your sewer system, what happens? A good example, take your septic tank out at your house and keep using and flushing your toilet. What are you going to see? Yeah, nothing really friendly. So this is what's happening. Your toilet ain't working. And so it's backing up, and these are acids. And they're just, cells are just being bit on their own waste. Auto-intoxication in one way of looking at it. And so to fix that, you've got to fix the lymph system, number one. And number two, you can use glandulars, because I had people grow their thyroids back. And this is a good time, since you just had it removed, to hit that. And I would do at least 100 milligram thyroid, 100, 200 if you can get it. Raw desiccated thyroid tissue. It's available here at the health center. And start using that along with, but iodized, These guys are freaks with iodine. Toxic. I mean, these guys are crazy. Now, kelp, all right, dulse, all right, I'll go with that, but you don't have thyroids. But you can use those, they're good mineralized, but I'd go to the fruit first to get my lymphatic system in order and fix my kidney and adrenal glands, make sure my kidneys are filtering. Or what are you going to do? If you really got to get your body in a high alkaline state in terms of blood, and getting your lymphatic system moving so there is no obstructions to get tissue to rebuild itself. Take a look at Morse.tv and take a look at the toe and other tissues that we're rebuilding, brain lesions, things like this. You can't do it on much other below fruits, berries, and melons. Vegetables, you can rego liver easy, heart maybe, muscle, yeah. But you're talking about high-end endocrinology tissue, nerve tissue. Yeah, you got to have your fructose. Essential. So you don't want to struggle the rest of your life. These guys did you a big disfavor, believe it or not. You can always detox goiters and cancer cells out of the body, but you have to understand why you get them. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. Hey, look, man, one of my cells decided it's going to be a cancer cell. Oh, well, that little dirty booger. We got to go in and get him and anybody else around him. Let's go in and kill it. Well, wait a minute, he's already dead. Oh, well, I don't know. We'll hit him no matter what. Berkeley professor states, people do not die of cancer. People die of chemotherapy and terrible pain. All right? Cancer screening doesn't save lives. Big study shows. Chemotherapy increases cancer growth and cancer cell. Well, why? Chemotherapy is extreme acid in a system that has to be alkaline. Why would you do that? Because they're nutcases. Study, chemotherapy-treated cancer patients die sooner than no treatment at all. And that's what we were talking about yesterday on the video. If you do nothing, you have a lot better chance because your body's going to start trying to fix itself, and especially if you start moving toward the things that allow it to fix itself. What would be, fruits, berries, and melons to bring proper hydration, bring proper electrons in there. You're looking at the whole process of glycolysis, the whole 9 yards you're looking at if you want to get intellectual about it. The problem getting too intellectual, there's a certain, and this is with you, Linda, too, there's a certain wall that you reach. And it doesn't matter. And when you're sitting with your patients or clients, they don't give two hoots. They don't give two hoots in your body what's happened to glycogen or anything else. They want to know what's going on with me and how can I fix this. So, intellectualism has a point of narcissism tied to it. You got to be careful with it. So this is what you'd have to do. If you want to be 100% raw, you want to rebuild tissue. Don't look at it you're trying to treat without. You want to rebuild tissue. I'm into regeneration. So anything we talk about, I'm into regeneration of tissue. I don't know what else to say about it. We've showed it and demonstrated it with thousands of you around the world, and you guys have showed the world, hey, look. So it's all good stuff. Hello, Dr. Morse. I am a 39-year-old girl that is 3 to 5 years ago had a cancer located in what cyst? During second operation, they had removed total 14 lymph nodes located around the abdomen and groin. After 3 years, I get lymphedema in my I am on a raw diet, and 80% for the last 3 years. Oh, I'm on a raw diet, and 80% of the last 3 years. I'm currently on a juice fast based on dark grapes and herbal tinctures for the last 2 months. Good girl. Good girl. All right? The swelling does not go down. So, this is where the bad news comes in. This is where friggin' bad news comes in, and I hate that. They removed your septic tanks that is essential to the movement of waste from your feet, up your legs to where? The kidneys, through the groins and to the kidneys. But these jacks don't know anything about that, so they remove your lymph nodes. So you have lymphedema. Very serious problem. I don't know what to tell you. There's sequential leg pumps you can get, things like that to help squeeze the lymph back up in the abdomen area. But if you have no lymph nodes there, this is what gets people in serious trouble. People that are insane working on you. And yet people have this alliance to the medical community I just don't get. And I think part of that goes to the world is very deficient on good naturopaths. People that have stood up, and we've been suppressed. Remember, allopathy went after homeopathy and then naturopathy. These bastards, they like to get us and shut us up and everything else. For what? Extreme narcissism. There was one point when I was working at the hospitals, they wanted nobody that graduated with a doctorate, whether you're a scientist for NASA or whatever, nobody could use doctorate but medical doctors. How narcissistic are you when you call for those sort of things? That means you live in a world where you think you're the only one with the answers and you're the top killer of humans on the planet. These things need to be pushed in their face. Well, you're the top killer of humans on the planet and you just took my thyroid out. Shouldn't I have talked to someone that is not part of the killing machine? Yes. And the problem is, and this is why I have my school, this is why I've been teaching for 52 years now. Wake up. And it's sad. This sweetheart's only 39 years young. Yeah, I see your foot. Take a look. And very little can be done with it. And the problem, sweetie, is you can get an elephant leg, real bad elephant legs. And this is the problem. This is why 100% raw is essential, going after your kidney matrix, your whole adrenals and that, because the body rebuilds tissue. And the best you can pray for is that your body will rebuild this lymph system that they indiscriminately took out because they saw, oh, your lymph nodes are involved because they're swollen. Why would a lymph node be swollen, Jack? You know, what are they for? At least A&P has a little bit of that in it. Holy crap. These things get me unnerved because I have to deliver bad news sometimes. It's not so good. Even though we're the top, I think, healers in the world, our students are curing people all over the place. But when they remove tissue that's vital, there's no magic wand. And it just makes me sick when it's a beautiful young girl like this, Anita. So the best you can hope for, and don't expect to see that go down. And I don't know if I would juice. I'd probably just go eat a grape diet as long as I could take it, or mangoes. Mangoes are really in season. You ought to see my kitchen counter. I've got mangoes stacked up this tall. And good mango season for Florida is coming in here in what? May, June. That's when the Valencia Prides. I can't eat them fast enough because they turn on me. I order so many of them, they turn on me so quick, I have to pass them all around. But, you know, these are the things that you can hope for to get the body to rebuild these tissues. And your body loves to rebuild tissue, but it can't rebuild tissue in an acidic medium. That's why you have to go out why they remove the lymph nodes. You have to address the cause no matter where you are down this road or on this scale. You have to go down this road. Yeah, I was just looking at this one. This is not a chemo burn. It was just showing a port. They don't put a port in your Graco anymore. But the burn that chemo, if you spill it on the skin, the burn, but they're willing to put it in your blood system. Oh my God. The insanity to that is beyond conception. And when you suppress and teach the world that allopathy, that naturopathy and homeopathy doesn't know their butt from a hole in the ground, but you're the one that don't. I love that. I see that in some of these political sides where they blame everybody else and they're the ones doing it. Oh, I hate that. So what else can I do to make the lymphedema go away? Get the body to try to regrow those lymph nodes, as crazy as that sounds. So you really got to go, and I've told the story, and I'm going to tell it again, I'll start crying again. And the lady that had the right breast removed, but they took her right kidney out, and she lifted up her dress, and her legs were this big. And she said to me, I'm going to die, aren't I? Whew, that hit me right there when she said that. It's like, probably. Damn. So you get your life back to normal. There's no getting back to normal for a long time, sweetie. You've got to really hold the line there. And there's no glandulars that I know of that can help you other than getting those kidneys to start filtering, getting your lymph moving properly, and opening up these doorways as much as you can. Your body always finds a way, and it loves to regrow tissue. And the lymph nodes are no different, in my opinion. And these are some of the conversations we've had before. You know, when you get kidney filtration, that doesn't mean a tumor up here can go away. If they remove lymph nodes, you're going to keep growing tumors. The cells are going to keep discharging waste. What do you think tumors are? They just show up magically. It's just insane. So I hope that my videos and our school grounds you all in understanding this whole issue of the lymphatic system, because these are just some of the cases that make you sick to your stomach. And sorry, Anita, I didn't mean to go off on them with it, but when they hurt people like you, I start getting fighting mad. Enough is enough is enough is enough. Like I say, this is my 50th year as a naturopathic physician, and I had to put up with this for all 50 years. And it's like, so we've got a huge group out here now. All you beautiful souls have been working this, cleaning yourselves up. So you want evidence? I've been in front of a lot of judges. You want evidence, jury? We got plenty of evidence. So much it'll cram your court full for months. So you know what? Be careful what you state, because this is the sort of problems that we run into, honey. And you got my heart. So work on a raw fruit, berry, and melon diet. I'll probably stay away from melons even, be honest with you. Again, too much water, too much. You can start getting edemic, especially in the abdominal areas, and you don't want ascites. You don't want any of that to happen. You want to get your kidneys filtering and make sure you're moving your bowels once or twice a day. Key essential. And if you can sweat, get your thyroid up to where you can sweat. And how do you get your thyroid up? Well, what brings it down? And you get back to the lymphatic system again. So when your lymphatic system's this bad, or they had to remove all these lymph nodes abdominally, holy crap, where did they all go? What cells did they all feed? And that's what you're beginning to see. Because you're going to see lymphedema everywhere, and some of it you can't see because it's internal. So it's just their insanity. I would love to see people start suing the holy pants off of these guys for being that level of ignorant. You just can't indiscriminately remove lymph nodes and think, oh, I wonder what's wrong with this. It's just cut out a fatty liver and go, oh, wonder what's wrong with this, a fatty liver. Oh, can't live without a liver. Uh-oh. So my heart goes out, honey. You got to stay focused. Get on an herbal program to get those kidneys filtering. Get our detox, deworm yourself, and, keep working on yourself. That's all I can tell you. If you can get yourself sweating a lot, that's going to be helpful there. You might try to get your legs to sweat, wrapping them up. Had this lady from Europe, and she'd come to the Mayo Clinic here in Florida all the time for tumors all up her legs. Now, they didn't remove any lymph nodes, thank God, but they had her wrapping. I said, what does the Mayo Clinic have you doing for all these tumors on your legs? She said, oh, they have me wrapping my legs in cellophane, like a sequential leg pump sort of thing, tight, ring it up. Yeah, when you start removing lymph nodes and you don't know anything about the kidney connection to the lymphatic system and all this, yeah, you're going to be saying stupid stuff like that from the top Mayo Clinic. But they're all the same, Cleveland. You go right on down the line. And I don't mean to be abusive or mean, but I'll tell you what, when you see cases like this, it makes me sick to my stomach. Let's see what this is. This is Demetrius, male from Greece, 21 years young, 5'6". We're going to be looking at pituitary for you, young man, 125 pounds. Man boobs and Fruitarianism. Yeah, I kind of got that, what do they call it? It'll come to me. Always try to forget it. Of course, I used to work up as a young man. Of course, farming and all that works you up too. And then when you kind of let them go, they do get flabby. But what do they call that? Anyway. Hello, my beloved friend, Dr. Morse, or as I call you, Robert. Absolutely. I go good with Robert. My name is Demetrius. I am 21 years old from Greece, and I'm into the frugivore diet since I realize what our species, Homo sapiens, represent. And we do. The Did you see that on the news? That National Geographic, they had Smith filming this National Geographic segment on snakes and stuff. They now have found the largest snake in the world. And it's part of the python community. And where they have the green, this is like what, the brown python, minimum 21 feet long. I haven't seen pictures of how big it is, but it's got to be a big baby, right? And they're saying between the green and the brown, just if I'm wrong, I apologize, that there's 5.5% genetic differences. And they compared that to the chimpanzee and the Homo sapien, which is only 2% difference. So when you look at a chimpanzee and you look at a human, there's only 2% genetically difference. The snake between the two breeds of pythons had a 5.5% genetic difference. Amazing. They just found this new snake, largest in the world. Cool stuff. I want to thank my brother who told me about you, George, 23 years young, and following your example. I won't stop trying to wake up my family, girlfriend, or friends. Yeah, you can't. I mean, how can you? You know, people might not like it, but you know, I'm always there. I'm always gonna say a little thing. And I mean, people around me don't always follow things, and I'm always going, hey, take a look at your bags, take a look. If that's the case, then I was probably meant to be. Absolutely you were, my friend. I'm writing to you because I remember watching a video of yours saying that you haven't seen someone getting rid of, gynecomastia. Yeah, this is definitely gynecomastia. Thanks for the name. I did pretty good, I'll say, when I was 100% fruitarian. But yeah, you know, you're looking at growth hormones, you're looking at all that. You're 5'6". I'm not. I'm 5'9.5". I really haven't shrunk any since I was young, so that's good. At least I don't have spinal, that sort of thing. But yeah, keep working, because mine's getting better. Mine's getting a lot better, you know. But again, also working out sometimes, and you let them go, they kind of hang a little bit too, you know. But yeah, mine's getting a lot better. I won't go, but you know. I am not sure that if that's still a thing, but I'd love to share my experience. Oh, absolutely. I've been a fruitarian for 6 months now. Love it. Yeah. You got to feel good, bro. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how good I felt back in those days. Been difficult to get back there, but living on a 90% fruits lifestyle with the other 10% being raw veggies, I like that. I've copied your formulas with local native herbs from Greek farmers, as I can't afford your kits yet. Then you can't afford our kits. That's just what you do. You don't sit there and wait. Yeah, you get your local farmers, you get herbs from there, put your own formulas together. Heck yeah. I've always invited that. You know, it's the way you have to do to survive out there. And when you don't have the money, then you do the best you can like that. I guarantee that you and your knowledge are a special gift. Oh, thanks, my friend. I love you too, man. Thank you again. Well, thank you. You're one of the bros, man. And I mean, all you spiritual people are waking up and realizing that we're all connected, and that's what's really cool. You know, and that we have a lot going on. Back to our subject. I've been seeing my chest skin getting tighter. My nipples are getting smaller, and my breast is looking more masculine than ever. And that's what's happened to me, too, through the years, definitely. But when I was younger, yeah, when I was a milk drinker, you know, and all this kind of crap like that, I used to be a fat kid growing up. I even reached 190 pounds. Well, I didn't, I don't think, when I was 15 years old. I don't think I got that high, but I was chunky punky with just 5'4" height, absolutely. definitely tightening up. Looking good. And that's what happens. But I didn't have it that bad, but kinda. And you can see the gynecomastia. You have more of a woman boob. But look how tight he's looking. Pretty cool, huh? It's happened to me too, same way. That's pretty cool. Some things you can't believe that the body can do. Isn't it cool as all get out? I mean, really. I mean, sometimes I'm left speechless when things happen, and it's like, wow, wow. Don't ever let me limit what the body can do. And that's what I say to this young lady. Do not get upset about your lymph nodes. Go after the body to rebuild them. All right? That pulls your spiritual side in. If you have to do some visualization techniques, fine. Pull some energy down in those legs and that lymphatic system. But get it moving. Fix why you had the problem always. And in that fixing why you had the problem, the body can rebuild. You see it all the time. You see it in this young man. So last year I was weighing 160 pounds at 5'6", right photo, and today I'm 125 pounds while detoxifying and feeling more healthy. And that's the thing. You might sometimes think people are skinnier, but look how good he looks. Look at how good he looks. And that's what I'm saying. You feel so good when you're thinner than you're fatter. You can't even, there's no words to describe that. You feel better thinner. And especially when the blood and lymph and everybody's moving good, you don't have any obstructions, you don't have any joint problems, you can work it 24 hours a day and just keep working it. And that's what I'm talking about. When you remove the obstructions to blood, nerve, and lymph, boom, man, you can't believe it. It's almost like infinite energy, because you're not doing anything that's blocking the energy flows in the body. Everything is moving in and out, in and out. And your consciousness is not blocking it with mental thoughts so much and with emotional, hang-ups and stuff like that. I like that. I'll send you another report of my man boobs progression 1 year from now, along with my iris. Ooh, yeah. That is exciting. As we get more eyes in here showing befores and afters, I'll do more videos for you guys. I know I'm lagging, but I've been working on these books so hard, you can't imagine. The knowledge in these books on the frugivore and also the lymphatic system is essential to this world. Look at so many people, like you alluded to here, that, my girlfriend and some of these people, it's hard for them to capture that. You've got, I don't want to make this as a statement, but you've got to be a higher being to really have this much focus. The average person is going to nod out in a month or two. They need it, they know they need it, but then they just kind of wane out. The mind gets them in all this. The more spiritual you are, the more determined, the more power, the more control you have. And that's why I keep saying, get out of your minds, get out of your emotions, and connect to the now, where the power of you really is. And then let that become the power you use to fix yourselves. And then the mind just sits over in the corner. I'll use you when I'm ready, right? Oh, no, I don't need to hear from you yet. Just kind of putting the ego. Put your ego in the corner sitting on a chair with a dunce hat on it, Sit over there as long as you can. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. This young man is good. We love you, and I love you. I mean, you're just another higher being, son. And this world needs all us higher beings at one level or another. You know what? Cool stuff, isn't it? I love it. I'll get this done by 3 because I want to get this to you, Marco, before the end of the day. Or you won't get it till next Monday. This is Friday here. Sweetheart, I cannot pronounce your first name. S-V-E-T, Svetlana, S-E-V-T-L-A-N-A, Lana, Svetlana. Country boy. Didn't go to spelling class. Went to machine shop. Woodworking. Band. She's 43, 5'7", 180 pounds. hypersensitive skin. This concerns herself. Being touched send me into, being touched sends her into overdrive. Feels disgusting. Ooh. I cannot stand the feeling and I need to scratch the feeling out. Skin growling sensation. Anyone breathing on my skin annoys me and makes me angry. Wow. Are you acidic or what? Holy crapadoodle. And your nervous system. You got to look at your adrenals. Of course, you're going to look at your kidneys too because of the lymphatic system. And remember, your skin is the major player of your lymphatic system. What do we call the skin? The third kidney of the human body. So when you have a thyroid, check your basal temperature to see what your thyroid is doing. Can you sweat? It probably gives you the creeps, but you need to open up your doors. You got to get your kidneys filtering, get in the adrenals, take a look at your blood pressure, see if they're not too low. If they're too low, get some licorice root. But you've got to get your nervous system rebuilt a little bit here because that's also autonomic. So I see two things, lymphatic and autonomic. Before I did diet modifications, I would scratch to stop feeling the annoyance and disgust. And that also would bring in this whole thing of, and that's, to me, that's neurological. But also there are fungal problems that can probably add to this. But to me, that's a nervous system problem, an autonomic nervous system problem tied with a lymphatic problem. I would be emotionally unstable because the feeling would be too hard to handle. Again, we're going back to the adrenal glands, which is also emotions, but also the autonomic nervous system, right? And then you want to clean your gut out because of the stomach connection to that as well. So, and that's why we just don't go and say, I'll take this herb and come back in a month or two. No, we're going into your body and we're going after these tissues to start enhancing their function. Remember, cells are structure function. And you got to understand when your myelin sheaths are frayed like that, hey, I'm telling you, anything like that is possible. And that means and of course, you also go to the lymphatic system as well with that. So you go after those two things and you'll be successful, I'm telling you. But you might have a little, detox period going on there. I would totally take over. Now going vegan 8 months and GF 7 years can have some skin contact. See what I'm saying? You want to go all fruitarian. You want to go grapes, mangoes, whatever you can, fruits, berries, and melons, as long as you're not highly edemic. Get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals strengthened up, which will then strengthen up the myelin sheaths. Your top blood pressure. That's everything, especially when your kidney pressure is around 60. What's your systolic then? If your diastolic is 80 or 90, it don't matter about your systolic because you got to fix your kidneys first. But always, and like we were talking about this other young man, if you look at it, he's really low blood pressure, but he's been high blood pressure since he's been 19. Yeah. And that just shows kidneys. And I am disgusted that they still don't know it. I had a nurse checking my blood pressure. I had to go to my urologist the other day. He was checking just for a checkup, and she's checking my blood pressure. And I said, you can check both arms. I said, but that's okay. And I said, do you know what your blood pressure represents? So you're already seeing a little bit of a difference, just having a little bit of a difference in diet. You want to go from a vegan, because you're not a herbivore, into a frugivore, which is going to give you the high end of fruits, berries, and melons. Then you got your fructose. And what have we been talking about on the last many videos about fructose? Oh, for neurons. Absolutely. So you strengthen your nervous system through fruits and fructose. Used to have silicone breast implants. Remove them. Good girl. One was ruptured. Not so good. And capsules 4 years ago. Well, there's only one system in your body that can eliminate this. Only one system. This is why so many females that had ruptured implants had so much problem. Remember, this is probably 20, 30 years ago. And females all over the place were having major problems. They had silicone all through their chest cavities. I know a whole bunch of females that had problems. And it just, man has to get more spiritual and realize no matter what you're born with, that's you. If you have smaller breasts, fix your pituitary and they'll grow. Our female reproductive formula has been bad about that. It's just, start getting into the health. Change your focus instead of implants to, because we have a very male-dominated world. And, be who you are, whether you have man boobs or no boobs. Right? So, but you can fix them, and you can see that you can fix man boobs into manly chest and no boobs into nice breasts. Dental implants, titanium, zirconium. Oh, that one too. Both caused health issues. No kidding. Removed 3 years ago. Amalgam removed 3 years ago. That was good. Again, your mercury. I mean, humans have been on a long, long slide of learning. The problem is they're still not learning. Thank God for you guys. Have 10 root canals, and one I'm sure has amalgam fillings. Cat fell off, and we saw it, saw it. Well, there's enough to say that. Why are you having so many implants? Why are you having so much trouble in your mouth? What system are you fighting, honey? Yeah, you're fighting your lymphatic system in every way, shape, or form. You're 5'7", hard to say, but check your eyes, see if you have a little pituitary going on there as well. But you definitely have kidney and adrenals. And this is just more proof that you're having lymphatic problems all the way up in here. Well, you've got eyes, you've got ears, you've got brains, you got all this other, you've got cerebellums and mastoids and everything else dealing with equilibrium and stability. Cerebellum, the whole 9 yards. I mean, so all of this is involved here. That's why you need to get your kidneys filtering and start having all this stuff drain out of you. Because it doesn't matter what you get, you'll still see deterioration of the jaw. And then they'll start to do, bone implants and stuff like this. Many symptoms went away. Sex issues, headaches, rosacea. See, rosacea right there. It's all right. See, you got a lot going on right here, honey. A droopy eye. Ooh, look at that. See? So get that brain drain going. Get your lymphatic going. Use your neurolymphatic points way on up in here. Top of the C-spine. Start working this and working this. Get your kidneys filtering. That's your main focus. Get your lymphatic system in order. No matter how long it takes you and your focus. Because what you do in doing that will set your life, the rest of it. Literally. It'll change the rest of your life literally. Either into a Wellville happiness or a Hellville depression. That's just that, right. I still have extra weight, 30 pounds I gained 6 years ago and 1 month, and skin issue. Many call sensory processing disorder. Holy Lord. I love how we like to categorize and name. Throw a name on it. But what's behind the name, right? And you're going to find the autonomic, and you're going to find the lymphatic. The lymphatic, you're just drawing us a beautiful picture of how bad your lymphatic system is. I hate to say it. But to have that, you have to have kidney and adrenals. Well, here's the adrenals. Take a look at the adrenals. We open them up. Oh, mineral utilization, sugar metabolism, your gonadals, your sexual hormones, steroids, your neurotransmitters for the autonomic, all of that. So when the adrenals go down, guess what else goes down? The autonomic. So then if you got herpes, you got shingles, you got things attacking. Weaknesses are attacked by nature, whether they're internal or external. Many call it sensory processing disorder, which rubbing hands, synthetic materials, blowing on skin, chalk on board. How about razor blade on the tongue? Oh! Feels annoying and I cannot process them stays. I think it is amalgam fillings that's the only thing left, but not sure not want to pull teeth out, and nothing changes. Well, why not get a composite in there instead of the amalgam? Have them remove the metals and put in a composite or something. That's what I did, and I felt so much better after all the metal was out of my mouth. But you're talking about titanium. Titanium is an alkaline metal. The problem is you're putting it in a very acidic medium, so you have decay of the metal. I mean, this is the problem in the first place. Yeah, your body handles alkaline metals a lot better than acids, but which medium is involved? And you're all involved in the face and everything with acids, your lymphatic system. Nothing changes since I have not found anyone who knows what that is from. Thank you. Well, I think you draw us a nice picture that your lymphatic system is down. And of course, that has to mean kidney and adrenals. Once we teach this world, should be a big aha moment for so many people to understand. And then the connecting link when the adrenals go to the autonomic and things like that. And that's what I see there with what you're talking about. And of course, that's your emotional glands as well. So look at that. You look at your lymphatic system. Those are at least two things that I see right off. But take a look at your iris. Jessica reads them in here for you. There's a lot of people online that do that. So, if you don't know how to read them, and we've got videos up that's free, and then I have, I think, a real good school about that. Lymphatic iridology is not out there. We brought lymphatic iridology out there because we understand the lymphatic system. And if you don't, you end up like this poor 39-year-old where they have major lymph nodes removed. Okay. This is Lex, female from Sweden, a Swedish female, 26 years young. Coughing mucus. Coughing mucus? What color eyes do you have? Blue. So all the yellow, the brown, heavy mucus in the body. And what is this real dark ring around your outside of your eye? It's a scurf ring, right? And what is that in iridology? That's your skin. Honey, you were born with real weak skin. But when you are, and you have kidney issues, things are locked in. And when they're locked in, you start seeing eyes going from blue to white to yellow, green, and then into the browns. And I'm not sure some of this is not sulfur. I mean, if you look, you see the orange here, it looks like a lot of sulfur, but up here you got brown more. So I've always said too much light can make brown look orange. I would still consider it sulfur. You will know by when you start detoxing properly, you'll see orange stools. Or orange pieces of stuff in your stools and stuff, that's when you know it's sulfur. You have pretty good genes. That's good. We'll go over these eyes here in a minute. I absolutely adore you. I adore you too, honey. My problem is that I cough thick mucus. Yeah, we want to get over that. But to thin the mucus, what do you have to do to thin the mucus? Hydrate. And hydration comes with alkaline-forming foods. Your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your vegetables. Those are the only true hydrators where your electrons are above the protons. That's when you really see good hydrators, right? And so fruit are the king of hydrators. And they're also the king of pulling this mucus out of you, and discharging mucus because they're astringent in nature. You'll see mucus in your stools, mucus in your urine, mucus out of your throat, mucus coming out of your armpits, under your breath. I mean, you keep on going. It secretes out of you, especially when your cup is full. Yeah, and you want to get that out of you. Oh, that thick mucus. Can you imagine, you think of your little cells, their structure, function, they're here in the thyroid making your calcitonin or helping with your thyroxins, your T3s and 4s. Then you've got, whatever you're looking at, your parathyroids, anything like that, your voice box, your lungs, all of this. Just take your lungs, for example. Imagine that thick mucus stored in your lungs. your O2 saturation starts going down, 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 all right? And then imagine your cells encased in thick mucus. What would happen to those cells eventually? What name could you put on them? Atypical toward what medical doctors call cancer cells. Yeah, because you're snuffing their life out. So that thick mucus, and when it gets in the sinuses, your olfactories are gone. You can't smell. You think you can smell, but you can't. Your hearing goes down. Your eyes get blurry. You got mucus floaters in your eyes, things like that. Every day since my throat got an infection 1 year ago. Well, the reason it got an infection is because of the mucus. You know, just keep in mind that when you think of the germ theory, you're thinking of 17th and 18th century theories. We're way up there in what, the 21st or whatever century, so what are we talking about? We're talking about bacterium that love to eat. And most bacteria, I don't know how much mucus, bacteria is involved in mucus. There are more metals and things like that. But you can have, you know, the lymph system. And the lymph system has a lot of bacteria involvements. I mean, look at your lymph nodes. They're supposed to have bacteria in them. Again, killing your lymph node bacteria is about as smart as killing the bacteria in your septic tanks. No one that I know of that have any awareness of why bacteria grows in your septic tank, why they would even begin to kill them. And keep flushing your toilet, because that's not good. No one's in there breaking down your solids. And then so solids will start going backwards up and into the, oh, whoa. And sometimes dark in color. You're going to see, she's going to see yellow mucus coming out of her, brown mucus coming out of her, and in some cases, honey, you might even see black mucus coming out of you. Oh yeah, deep in those lungs, absolutely. So all in all, she looks pretty good. A lot of nerve rings. See these nerve rings here that go around the eye? Well, I get myself focused here, but you got a lot of nerve rings here. You can see on this left side, maybe the light is a little better. She looks a little lighter lymphatically here, and then over, I'm sorry, to here. But let me look at a couple of these spots real quick, and we'll look at them. Okay, so real quick, left kidney issues a little bit genetically. Your left adrenal gland is hidden under extreme congestion, extreme mucus, and it looks like you might be sulfur. If you're coughing up any orange mucus, that's sulfur. Then you've got sulfur. It means you got heavy fungal problems as well. So get that parasite in, go after that, start hydrating on a fruit diet, and watch what's coming out. Because you've got pretty good genes here. You got a big prolapse. Look at her prolapse. Let me draw here so you can see this. But her splenic flexure is really dropped down. See how I've drawn this right here? That's a prolapsus. So when your flexures are dropping down, your transverse is dropping, I'm going to go where? I'm going to think connective tissue. I'm going to go parathyroid glands. Parathyroid left side, chronic, heavy congestion in that. Also a little bit of weakness in the thyroid, not so bad, but a lot of mucus in the thyroid. Left side, right side, very chronic parathyroids, and also thyroid itself. So you've got some thyroid, parathyroid problems because I'm seeing the prolapsing of the flexures. And even the sigmoid bowel's a little prolapsed. So you really want to look at that because you've got pretty good genes here, honey. But you've just got tons of congestion, tons of lymphatic stagnation, and this is acids. So you want to open that doorway up. Also, you have some lower bronchial left side, lower bronchial trunk, so you might get some bronchitis. I see the same thing on the right side. So you learn how to breathe abdominally instead of thoracically. Don't breathe like this. Breathe from the abdominal area because this is affecting your upper chest wall. I don't know how much heart's involved, but definitely your lower bronchial and part of your chest wall here is involved. Feed to the left breast, not happy, so be careful with that. Same thing, right breast, you've got a lot of congestion everywhere. Pituitary, heavily congested area, some genetics in the pituitary, but more in the pineal gland. That's going to be your rest and sleep area. But you've got good genes, I have to say that. Looking at your back, you've got some upper T-spine, maybe some upper C-spine weaknesses, upper T left side, mid-back, and then some lower back there. Right side, again, definitely thyroid, parathyroid involvement, throat involvement, so you could have a sore throat here. A lot of congestion, upper C-spine, mid-back, a lot of congestion there. Back looks a little better on the right side than the left. Looking at the legs, genetically, you got a little weakness going on in the legs. So you're involved in a genetic from your mama or whatever, but you got parathyroid issues. That's what you want to address, parathyroid. So add that to your detox program, a parathyroid formula. You can do that BID twice a day. I forget what our milligrams are now, but also, you might want to clean the gallbladder and liver out a little bit, and you also have some right ovarian weakness and pancreatic weakness. So a little bit needs to be fixed up there, but remember, freaky, but you've got blue eyes. Those are not brown eyes. So you want to get in there and go after that. My problem is that, as well, I have major gut problems. You know, this might be sulfur, honey, but you've got a lot of chronic lymph stagnation in interstitial spaces of the small and large bowel. Definitely. Stomach doesn't look too bad. I mean, your skin is a big issue. But again, when we see thyroid, we see skin. Why? Because a thyroid weakness lowers your body temperature, right? Unless it's hyperthyroid. So you go low, your skin goes low, and you don't have enough to sweat. Well, sweating is a vital part of elimination when you're a cheese eater, dairy eater, all this other kind of stuff. You have to eliminate a lot more than a fruit eater. Once a fruit eater starts getting their body cleaned up, they have minimal need to eliminate. You have daily cellular trash, absolutely, but not the stored stuff that some of these people do from, a lifetime and from their mother. She's only 26, so a lot of this came from mama. And that's where mama needs to look at that. Constipation since childhood. You might have sulfur involvement. You might. But again, you have nerve rings. And nerve rings means that the autonomic nervous system is chronic. And that peristalsis is a neurological event. And to this day, I never know how my stomach will act up, which affects, I bet. My appendix is removed. That's all in this area. Oops. Oh, honey. That shows how bad your lymphatic system is. Remember, your appendix is more or less your lymph node for your colons. And I don't know how much the small bowel's involved in that. But by the time you lose your appendix, you are very chronically involved interstitially in the walls of your intestines. And that's what you're showing. A malabsorption where you don't have a heavy one. So that's good. That's good. I was born with completely blue eyes. Yeah, you were born with completely blue eyes. My mother got antibiotics for tuberculosis a whole year later while she breastfed me in the 90s, and she is sick to this day, living with chronic pain. Yeah, because you look at your eyes and you know that you got your lymph from your mom, and you know what your mom's suffering from. And if this is sulfur, that would explain a lot too. But keep in mind, sulfur is hardening to the gut wall, makes for even more constipative issues. And then with a nervous system that's chronic, you can't get that good peristalsis movement. That's why fruit is the only really good things that help you move your bowels. Vegetables can be constipating to some people. Other people, vegetables are a nice laxative, but to others they can be constipating. Fruit is the king. Mangoes, bananas, dates. Dates are great at moving your bowels. Medjool, Bahari, great at moving your bowels. I would have a date every day, or 2 or 3. My problem is I can't just eat one, especially a good medjool. Oh. Plus, Plus, what's this other thing that kind of gives us a little slight look to sulfur? Antibiotics your mother took for tuberculosis and she breastfed. That right there says, oh, ho, ho, this could really be sulfur too. And that's a double whammy because, again, sulfur is hardening, but it also fungal proliferant. So people, for some people around the world, love sulfur. Really? It's like iodine. It's just unawareness, and mainly in the medical community. So that's probably, back then, she probably had sulfur-type antibiotics, penicillin or whatever. There's a lot of sulfur drugs out there. And she breastfed you, so that goes right into the milk. And that would make sense. But she was born with blue eyes. And I've said this, you're born with the color of eyes that you have. However, when they start changing, how do you explain, iridologists out there, how did she get from blue to this color? How do you explain that if you do not understand your lymphatic system? Oh, I don't know. I'm one of those guys that don't like to go, I don't know. I like to take it back as far as I can to give you the answers and give myself the answers. Because I'm like one of those jigsaw puzzle people. We did that through the winter time at home. My mom would get a 500,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, and it's, we start putting it together on this card table through the winter, right? Of course, you kind of get focused on these pieces, and oh Lord. But that's what you're doing with life, is putting the jigsaw pieces together. But you have a picture to look at. And I've said this many times in our videos, is imagine trying to put a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle together without the picture. That's allopathy. So then you have theories out the butt. It's like, no, you need the picture. Well, we're drawing you the picture of physics, chemistry, physiology, anatomy. We're showing you totally. That's why I love Pat, 24-year A&P professor. Pat August? No. She signed up to teach the summer courses. And like, I got to get you here and start filming our books. Pat. Beat her up, guys. So that's, you have to work that out. And there's only one way to get it out, and that's hydration, which is detoxification. And you need astringent values with that. And the fruits, berries, and melons, there's your top ones right there. Use some herbal formulas, definitely. Use our kidney formulas, our lymphatic formulas. Could use some endocrine glands popping up. You got to get your adrenals popped up. So I'd either do 2 full dropperfuls of the endocrine gland formula, or I would use an endocrine gland formula and an adrenal formula. I tend to use an adrenal formula initially because most people, adrenals are shot. And in a world like this where that your government is trying to suppress and control you, and you have a hierarchy in that trying to kill you, things can get stressful. I got one more. Good time for one more. All right, the United States. This is a female, Regina, 35, 5'6", 158 pounds, chronic cough. Same problem as this other lady, except whether you're getting production or not. The bad thing is when you cough and can't get anything out. That shows you how acidic that you are. The more acidic you are, the more the sputum locks in there just like a rock or something, So again, hydration. You want to, when you cough or you're sneezing, what does that tell you? Your body's trying to eliminate something, right? You don't cough for no reason. You don't sneeze for no reason. What happens when you start sneezing? Your nose starts running, right? So you got something up in the sinuses or up in the upper lymph nodes. So all these things are how the body gets rid of or trying to get rid of. So again, when you're coughing, you want production or you're going to hurt your rib cages and everything else, depending on how old you are, blah, 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 blah. You get some of these senior citizens that their whole chest cavity, everything is brittle because they've lived on nothing but milk and acid ash foods and stuff like that. You can't have them cough too much. Coughing can tear up and break their ribs and things like that. That's why fruit is so important at every level we can talk about here. Very important for hydration purposes and for astringent purposes. Very important. I have a chronic cough for over a decade, whoa, which seemed to get worse during COVID time. Well, of course. Anytime you see COVID time, of course, interesting how that came about. It doesn't matter what initiates the body to detoxify itself. That's what they don't get. It doesn't matter. The body will always seek to get rid of the unwanted, whether you want to label it a virus or what does Pat call them? I forget what she calls them, but a protein of some sort. Your body can't get rid of it through the blood, right? You know that in physiology when teaching that your blood capillaries don't take up proteins. What else is right next to that? Your lymph fluids, which is blood and lymph. Your interstitial fluids, blood and lymph. So proteins go to the lipid side because the lipids are like the big mamas. Yeah, you proteins, sit down. I'm going to take care of you. So this is very important. Oh, God, here we go. I've been to 2 pulmonologists, 2 regular docs, cardiologists, GI doc, ORL doc. I did tested positive for acid reflux, but ORL doc said that by looking at my throat, she doesn't think my cough is related to that. When you don't understand the lymphatic system, you don't understand what's going on here in your tonsils, in your throat, in your voice box, and why do you have 5 lymph nodes in your mouth for? Why all this? Why do you see your gums go? Why do you see abscesses? You just go on and on and on. This isn't a blood problem, so guys, girls, what else is there? Oh, the lymphatic system. Until 2 years ago when turned it to white sputum cough. You want to have production with your cough no matter what. And when your body's coughed up what it needs to, you'll lose your cough. But you've got to start hydrating properly. You can blame it on acid reflux, but then if you have acid reflux, why that? And you get into the whys of all these things, right? A few times I coughed until I vomited. Yeah. Honey. So change your diet to a fruit, berry, and melon diet. There's plenty of fruit, plenty of berries, plenty of melons to fix you all kinds of combinations and, all kinds of different meals like that. If you have to add salads, don't do it much because you want to fix this cough. Because if not, you can tear your muscles here, and if you have parathyroid, which you're talking about throat area, you could have parathyroid and stuff, and then your ribs get weak. And then you fracture a rib by coughing too much. I mean, I've seen people sternum. I don't think I've cracked any sternums, but I know a medical doctor and a cardiologist did, and then told me not to, and I said, you already cracked them, and he had that little shit-eating grin on his face. Hey. 4 times I coughed until I vomited. It's impacting my, hell yeah. The only way to stop this, you're going to take antispasmodics. Your body's trying to tell you you've got stagnation. Heavy stagnation lymphatically, and you want to get that out. Get an eye. Take a look at your eye. One pulmonologist said it's mild bronchitis. What's bronchitis? Okay? I just say he's somewhat accurate, right? That you have bronchial lymphatic problems. Same thing. You got to be able to hydrate and be able to expectorate. And this is how you expectorate. I've seen people cough up tumors before. Oh, yeah. So your body wants to eliminate, but the more acidic you are, remember, this is a cationic environment that acids create. It is a dried, agglomerated environment, and sputum just locks into your lungs, and you cough and cough and cough and try to break it up until you hurt yourself, fracture your C-spine. That's why the fruits, berries, and melons are essential to any type of health program. Why would your diet not be? When that's the chemistry you're swimming in, you're living in, right? I don't care what doc you're talking to. That isn't after doing allergy tests and medicine tests. Yeah, I know. Here we go. The allergy test. Oh, look, you're allergic to 1,250 things. Give me a freaking break. Yeah. You guys got me going today. I'm going now. After I blew in a lung capacity machine. Yeah, what good is that? I mean, you can see your lung capacity, you can check your O2 sats, you can look at all these things, you can look at, get you a deeper look, but what's the real problem here? Which you don't have to put yourself through all this stress and time and money. No, it's your lymphatic system. Look at acids and what cationic means. Look at alkalis and anionic means. And we spilled it out in our books, in our videos, in our schools to try to educate you on this. And once you know, then you know immediately what to do. Oh, I got to get this mucus out of me. But if it's dried in there, same thing with your sinuses. You can get polyps and everything else because it's literally locked in there. Right? That's why hydration is essential to the movement of this thickened sputum out of you. If not, then bye-bye cells, bye-bye structure function, whatever that might be, thyroid, parathyroids, tonsils. See you later. You like this one lady cut my thyroid out because it had a cancer cell. Well, how do you get a cancer cell in there or a cell that's died or dying? How do you kill your cells in your tissues? Well, there's only one way I know. 2 x-rays and lung capacity tests just showed mild symptoms of bronchial tube inflammation per pulmonologist. After all that work, and this is another thing. You can't see this heavy sputum on an x-ray. You can't see that. That's why when someone is in pain, they do an x-ray, they go, "Oh, we don't see anything, it's all in your head." It's in your head. Why am I seeing you with pain in my shoulder? I've had several cases like that. Why are you seeing me with pain in my shoulder? And you're telling me it's in my head? Oh, that'll be 200 bucks. Thank you for that wisdom. You've got a sewer system that deals with acids, and acids are very pain intensive, very inflammatory. Oh. I am currently on alkaline diet. Yeah, girl. It did seem to help with my nerves and slightly with cough, but the cough is still persistent. Go all fruits, berries and melons, mostly during the day and no particular reason. There is a reason, and that is inside of you. It's not outside of you, but it can be. You can start being allergic to the very air you breathe. At this point, I am not sure where to turn. I tried medication. No. I was giving you natural supplements. Trash can. What a waste. But again, I had a learning part of my 50 years of naturopathy. I had the first part, although when I had health food stores prior to that, I started getting into the herbs. But initially, supplements, oh yeah. But then, the inner divine. Look what I make. Ooh. Magic herbs. Oh yeah. So I started teaching herbology back 2 years before I became a naturopath. And then since I was a naturopath, I've always been teaching botanicals. So I've been involved in botanicals for a long, long time. Yeah, it's impacting. I can see that, how it is. So you can get your help though, sweetie. You'll get that taken care of. This is a common problem a lot of people do have, believe it or not. Your supplements just popped out on my Facebook, so I decided to email you after I did some research, and I hope you will see this and give some insight. Absolutely. Happy to, although this is back in November. I know, I'm trying. Oh, here's some. All right, these are the older ones they put up. All right, so here's a prostate getting larger and larger. Go to the kidneys, go to the kidneys, go to the kidneys. I'll touch on this the next time. But, yeah. Hydrate. How do you hydrate? Fruits, berries, melons, stuff at the top of the mountain. Vegetables down on the lower part of the mountain. Hey, this is Friday night, and I'm one of those live PDers. I hate to tell you, I'm into live PD. It's just crazy stuff, but you know, you get to see what's going on out in the world. And I'm ex-military, so I'm definitely good for law enforcement. when you're a good cop. You know, there's a lot of good cops out there. So anyway, love you guys, and hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Get your kidneys filtering, deworm yourselves, and that's a huge up for you. And I hope this helps you, and all of you guys, and love you guys dearly. Thank you so much for tuning into this old man, and we'll keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. Got some incredible stuff lined up for the future you can't believe. So we've been working on so many different levels, it's not even funny. So just hang in there on us. We're doing good. Dr. Morse's Cellular Botanicals, those are the brands. They might have even changed the name now, I don't know. But it's enough to say, enjoy the herbal formulas. They are magic, magic, magic. And if you're aware you can't afford them, you got to do what you can do, because your health is everything. You are everything. You're talking about just a body, and that's to you, you 39-year-old female with lymphedema in the left leg and foot. Just realize it's just a body, it's not you. Take a deep breath and hydrate, hydrate, and get your lymph nodes to grow back. Get your kidneys filtering. There's nowhere anything can go without kidney filtration, no matter how hard you try, no matter whether you use sequential leg pumps or wrap your leg with cellophane, thank you, Mayo, and that sort of thing. Hit it the right way, and your success will be as much as you put into it.